So I am watching The Hate You Give, and I'm thinking like all of these thoughts, like, remember all the stuff that your dad told you about how he got randomly pulled over for no reason, and how he had like routine traffic stops, and how like it always seemed like he was getting pulled over for absolutely nothing just because he had a nice car, even though he lived in a neighborhood where they sometimes sold drugs or had cars, so they thought he was a drug dealer because of his car. And all these things are coming to my head as I'm watching The Hate You Give. And as I'm watching it and seeing this kid, this portrayal of this kid basically who gets shot by a police officer when he takes a brush out of his car, and I'm thinking, this movie about this girl, Star, the one who saw it all happen firsthand, reminds me of all these different Black Lives Matter stories where the person just was reaching for something and they didn't keep their hands on the dashboard and they twitched or they moved, and the cop automatically thought that he had a gun and they get shot. And now I'm thinking, I thought about the person who died, yeah, and I thought about everyone who had missed them now that they were gone, but I never truly thought about the people who were in the car with them and the trauma that they go through, the PTSD that they struggle through. It's insane. I couldn't do it. I'm glad I haven't gotten to go through something like that. And I'm thinking about all these different things. And my first thought is, I need a little courage to write this message to Facebook. But here it is. I'm gonna write it. I'm gonna have it on my YouTube channel. So, the system is broken. Millennials, my fellow millennials, you're the loves of my life. I love y'all. And it's our job to fix it yet again, like climate change and every other problem that the generation before us messed up. But in this case, it's not just the generation before us. It's since the beginning of this nation. I know we've been dealt a horrible hand, millennials. I know. And we've had a tough round of things, tough blow, but it's up to us. We have to vote, help out however we can do that. We have to get registered if we're not. There's a quote in The Hate You Give. I think this is going to be my favorite quote of the year now. No matter what we say, no matter how loud we shout, they refuse to hear us. And that's true for us too. It's not just true for my fellow Black people and my fellow Native Americans, but it's true for every other minority as well, who's struggling, who's going through some tough times, and is asking the government to listen to us, listen to our voices. And they're not hearing us. They're not really listening. So, I have a message to everyone. This is a personal message for me. Attention, everyone. Please stop thinking of me as your approachable, non-threatening Black friend that you can ask all of your racist questions to. Let's talk about something different at some point. Let's not let this not be like a type of friendship where you literally just only come to me when you have some really weird racist Black people comments and you feel like you should ask it to me. If somebody has a hoodie on and some baggy pants, doesn't mean they're a thug that's gonna rob you. If somebody is walking down the street that's Black, walking next to you, you don't need to clutch your purse. They're most likely not gonna steal from you. Stop being afraid of us. stop being afraid of us. But more importantly, to my other message, this clip, this movie, The Hate You Give, or also known as, or AKA, THUG, or Thug for short, is for all of those who believe the struggle isn't real for minorities. All those who keep saying that we don't have to be afraid of police officers. Saying that our feelings are irrational and we shouldn't think that way. You don't have to do anything for you to get killed while being black. And that's a fact. Take it or leave it. The system is broken. We need to fix it. I don't understand why peaceful protests requires tear gas and pushing. Black Lives Matter protests, Native American protests. People talk all the time about how we have the First and Second Amendment. But last time I checked, that amendment was never made for us. African Americans and Native Americans, etc. Minorities. We weren't considered citizens at the time. We were labeled property and savages. We're not savages. We're not property. And I think it's bogus how we had to renew a voting law for black people recently. I think it's wild that this has to be something that has to be said, that our lives matter. Because honestly, nobody cares about our lives. And so we keep having to say it to everybody, that our lives matter. The amendments are supposed to be things like prohibit any law from respecting an establishment of religion, from not respecting an establishment of religion, impeding on the free exercise of religion, abridging the freedom of speech, infringing on the freedom of press, interfering with the right to peacefully assemble, or prohibiting the right to petition the government. And it's also supposed to be protect the right to keep and bear arms. But these laws were never put in place for us. We were still slaves or so-called indentured servants. And then we turn to people and we ask them just for equality. And they don't even want to give us that. We're asking just for the same type of respect and rights as everyone else. But they don't want to give us that. I'm a little disappointed in our nation. And I love this nation. But we have to do better. The system is broken and we need to fix it.